What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Unleashed Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, as always, alongside the boys, Mr. Elmi, Mr. Jabbar, Mr. Hassan. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good because you got it right.
Alhamdulillah. I've made sure that I said it in my head first before I say it out loud. But yeah, man, how you guys been? How you guys been with last week's topic, man? I think that for me was a topic that really connected with me, and I tried to make sure I implement it throughout the week. How you guys been with it?
I never had any problems with last week's episode because I don't like making promises to people.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I just said maybe a lot. I just said like maybe I'll do it, maybe I'll not. Like I know that if it's definitive and I can definitely do it, I'll put my word in. If I can't, I won't commit. I'll just tell him, hey, it's 50-50. And the also thing, just keep them updated as I go. If I can make it, if I can't.
Did you find like me that when you're in a case where you got to make a promise, especially since then, that you'd be thinking about it quite a bit?
Yeah, like just because we had that topic, it will always be like just putting little reminders like, yeah, make sure you're punctual, make sure you do that. And also, I caught myself making promises that I shouldn't. You know, I caught myself quite a few times going, oh yeah, no worries. And then going, oh wait, hold on, change that. I might make it. You know, just like catching myself in the moment. Because one of the big things was just not making promises that you can't keep.
Yeah, I think even for me, like I've tried to be as intentional as possible and very aware and conscious about the promises that I do keep. Now I'm sort of like, if somebody asks me something, I'm double checking. I'm like, can I really make it, or can I really fulfill this? Or before I even say something, I question myself, like, can I actually do it or not? And the other thing that I've sort of double checked is, you know, just saying the word inshallah. Sometimes inshallah to other people might mean maybe. So what I wanted to do is sort of clarify that when I say inshallah, I'll say inshallah, yes, I will come, or inshallah, no, I won't be doing these things anymore, or inshallah, I can't make, inshallah, I will try my best to, but there's a chance that I won't be able to. So just sort of clarifying exactly what I mean, rather than just leaving it as inshallah and let the other person interpret it how he wants, based on his or her experience.
Yeah, a lot of people use inshallah as a means to not give a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Inshallah, like, it's like, if God wills, I'll be there. If not, then I won't be there.
Because that's a bond in itself, right? Like you say, inshallah, inshallah is
rules,
the
yes.
default. The default value is yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've had the time, you've had the opportunity, you just haven't committed to it. That's your problem.
Exactly.
So
I know this is last week's episode, but something that I picked up on it this week was not making promises that are too far away. But sometimes it'd be like, oh, can you do this? It's 6 months, 7 months away, and it's so far away that you don't know what your schedule is going to be like. I just go, look, it's too far away. I'll let you know in a few months, and then I'll make the promise. Rather than making a promise 6 months down the line, you completely forgot about it, or things have just changed and you can't make that promise.
No,
that's
mashallah,
true.
Mashallah. We'll get back to you towards the end of the episode, inshallah. Because we really want to see how you went. Today's topic, inshallah, for us is the importance of self-approval and giving yourself the permission to go after your dreams. I think that's something in today's day and age, with all the hustle and grind and pretty much this whole secure the bag thing, where everybody forgets that firstly, it's okay to give yourself approval, to kick back, to chill, to do the things you like, and to go after your dreams, aside from just making money. And that's what I wanted us to discuss today. And I know you guys all, Elmi being a very, very work-oriented person that also has a bit of chill and live in the moment. I know you're very career and ambition-driven as well. Likewise with Omar, also balancing a family and career and everything. I wanted to speak to you guys about the importance of, firstly, self-approval and recognizing your own achievements, as well as giving yourself that it's okay to follow my dreams aside from just the responsibilities and day-to-day tasks.
I think the key word there is approval, because there's times where I can be like, yeah, I'll take the day off or I'll relax. But if I wasn't working the day before, if I didn't did my responsibility, did my time, even though I did it, it's not really approved because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. But that's just with like your goals and all that. When it comes to your ambitions and your dreams, I reckon you should just do it, because don't be the person that regrets things. When you go for your dreams, all the stuff that we talk about I'm waking up in the morning, trying really hard, overcoming, improving yourself. You have a reason to do all of that because you're doing something you enjoy in. When you're doing like a role just because you need the money, just because you have to do it, just because, it ends up being more of a chore, more of work, and then you end up just having time off, which isn't approved, just because you don't like what you're doing. So going after your dreams, you have to go after your dreams, because if you're at work 9 to 5, just doing a standard job, you're helping someone else's dreams. The person that owns that business, that's his dream, that's whatever he's doing. You're making that guy's dream come true, but what about yours? And to me, like, I don't want to sit back and go, I wasted my time, I regret it. And when you brought this up the other day, it kind of came up to me like, you also got to look at your hardships, and a lot of people need to get thick skinned, because when you're going after your dreams, there's going to be a lot of like downsides. So it's not just self-approval, it's self-criticism as well. If you're your most honest and critic, no one can actually get to you. Because if I'm looking at myself honestly and brutally and saying, these are the things I need to change, this is my dream I want to do, this is the stuff I have to do to get to that dream. When you do have all those negatives being thrown at you, or you're unable to do this, like, you don't know more than I do, because I'm the one going through it. So you like kind of put that to the side, and it makes it easier for you to approve yourself, because you're not getting other people pulling you down.
I love how you hit that, because I think self-approval is, for me, in my perspective, it's telling yourself that you are good enough, you are worth it, and it's okay for you to do this, or to take this path, right? And if you're, as you said, your biggest critic, then nobody else can deter you from this or make you feel that you're not good enough or inadequate. What about you? What does that mean for you, Omar?
Wallahi, I think sometimes, we busy our lives with responsibilities, duties, and we try and fill our day-to-day time with things that don't necessarily benefit or have any link with our desires and our like for example, you wake up in the morning, you go to work. You go to work not just because you love work. Some of us love work, we love the career, we love everything. Or you go to school. Some of us love the education part, right? But majority of the people, they do it to get the other benefit that comes from doing this task, whether it's money from your job to be able to provide for your family, or whether it's the education that comes with, going to school and all of these things, so that later on you can start doing all of these other things. But we fill our day-to-day task time with all these tasks that don't necessarily give us, like, we fill it so much that we don't have time for ourselves. And so what I'm trying to say is, self-approval is not just about saying, yes, go after it, but also saying no to the things that don't necessarily matter as such, or don't have a huge negative impact. If you say no to them, and freeing up time for yourself to be able to work on whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's you want to be a football player, finding time to be able to train, whether you want to develop an app, finding time to be able to actually implement that, whether you want to write a book, finding time to actually write it down. Like, don't basically disapprove yourself by saying, I've got too much to do. I don't have enough time to be able to go after my dream because I've got these responsibilities. I have to look after my family. I have to go to work. I have to take the kids here, there. I've got so much that I don't have time for. No, you need to be able to find time. That's the part of the approval that I'm trying to focus on.
Yeah.
By being able to say no to these things, to just free up some of the time. I'm not saying put yourself in a position where you cannot be able to handle your responsibilities. No, handle them, but to the requirement that's required. For example, you might need, like we all know, sleep is not a one size fits all. You might need only 6 hours, but because you say you have to go to work and you have to wake up, extra early or whatever, you try and do like 8 hours or 4 hours, right? You work according, like, look at your day-to-day activities, right? Can you cut down on sleep? Can you cut down on gym time? Can you cut down on friends time? Once a month, once a year, whatever it is, find time to be able to cultivate your goal, and try and work on it.
I think that's good. You should look at your day, and I reckon writing it down is great. Write down everything you do during the day and go, how much of these is actually contributing to what I need? like what my ambitions are, and how many of them do I actually need? Because some of them it might not be the job you have, but you need that to get your money or whatever it is. So look at the ones that you can cut off now, the fat, trim the fat, and the main ones, because a lot of people say, oh, but I got to stay doing this, I got to stay doing that. You can change it. Like if this job is something that you need, or I need to spend 10 hours at this job to make enough money. Well, are you looking for work? Are you actually putting time in to search for other ways to do it, you know? So, and then trimming that, because like you said, a lot of people say, I don't have time, but can you make time? Like that's the biggest one, because the biggest one is, I don't have time to do it. Why don't you go for your goal? Oh yeah, I don't. Oh, I have these commitments and stuff like that. And there's 24 hours in a day. You can find ways to fit it in.
It's linked to that approval thing. Like once the minute you give yourself that approval that you say, no, I'm going to make sure I go after my dream. And you give yourself that sort of approval, wallahi, you will find a way to make it work. You'll find a way to wake up early. You'll find a way to go to bed a little bit later. You'll find a way to use your lunch break wisely. You'll find a way to your commute. If it's a 40-minute train ride, you'll find your way to use it wisely. Wallahi, you always find a way.
Things that you thought were a priority don't necessarily have that same importance anymore.
Yeah.
What about you, Elmi? What do you think about going after your dreams and giving yourself that self-approval?
It's very important to go after your dreams. Obviously, everyone has dreams and ambitions. We're human beings, firstly. But also we have responsibilities. As you guys mentioned, you know, you gotta work, make sure you pay your bills, so on and so forth. But before any responsibility or any dreams comes our deen. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it's good to chase your dreams and so on and so forth, but your dream will not come true, or you won't reach your full potential to attain your dream unless you perfect your deen. At least, like, pray yourself. If you're waking up early to go to work, and I'm like, I'm a victim of this. I wake up early to go to work and I pray Fajr. The days my day off, I'm not praying Fajr. Like, subhanAllah, it's like every day I'm working, obviously, towards my dream, but like, I'm lacking my salah. So how am I going to get towards my end goal when I'm missing a big part of my life? You know what I mean? So for me, like, I try to look at perspective of, okay, is my salah good? Then everything else is going to be decent, like, because that's the main platform for everything.
So what you're saying is basically go after your dream, but prioritize and don't neglect your responsibilities.
Because that's what happens. Because as human beings, when we're going after something, we tend to focus on one thing at a time, and we're really focused on it. You see where I'm coming from? And we neglect the other things. So it's
supporting.
Yeah. Also, just not also your salah. In other aspects, your family, your everything. Balance it out. Don't
have that tunnel vision focus.
But you hit it on the head where, like, with the salah, it's the afterlife. You know what I mean? Work is, you're gonna get your payday this week. So you're like, I need to get paid. I got all my problems, not being able to pay my bills, not having gas in the car, whatever it is. That's short term. So you see the stuff that's closest to you, but your prayers are, you think that you're invincible, you live longer, things like that. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't go after their ambitions, because they'll go, oh, I got a day off, I can take time off, but my goal is going to require if it's a long-term goal, it's going to require years of work. So I can take a little bit of time off because it's small. And they just keep doing that, and they don't put it in. But like he said, you got to keep, even if the big goals are further away, and your dreams are most likely going to take some time to get there, especially your salah and your deen is something that should be a main goal in your life too. That's going to be a while from now. You got to remind yourself every day, because you fall into that trap, because we talk about staying ambitious, and one of the ways to stay ambitious is to refresh yourself of that goal. Because when you wake up late, the first thing you think of if you got work is, I miss work because I'm going to get fired, there's going to be issues at work. You're thinking of the consequences, they're right in your mind. But when it comes to salah, it's like, it's late, I'll pray a bit later, it's okay. It's not this immediate sort of like, I need to get it done. But when you have that in your mind, when you're sleeping and you're praying Isha, have that in your mind, like, I got to get up in the morning, right? Because if you got work in the morning, you sleep early because you don't want to be late because you're not going to get paid. But with the salah, it's like, you kind of put it off, and not just with your deen, with your goals and things that are generally further away. So having that reminder is a way to stay on track.
like I mentioned before, it's always good to keep balance. Like, all right, your salah, all right, then you got your family time, whatever, gym time, what you're eating, when you're sleeping, when you're kicking back with your mates or whatever. You got to balance it out your day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you're focused on, all right, gym or food, you might be neglecting your salah or your family time or your time with your mates. So you got to balance everything all out. Like, in life, you can't focus on things at a time. But if you balance everything out, and like always, like brother Omar Hassan always reminds us, reward yourself. You know, you always say when 3 month stage, okay, you worked hard, good to reward yourself. You know what I mean, for the hard work that you've achieved. You know, so
we've seen a lot of people that are overly ambitious. People like, this is their goal to make money. This is their goal to do this, and they're so focused in it that they're not happy when they get to that goal because they burn everything along the way.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make this business as profitable as I can. Now you're rich and you're loaded, but your family don't want to talk to you. Your friends that were there for you and really cared about you are not there. Like, things like that can happen. And even on the other way, if you swing it, the people that are always at the mosque that pray like all day, they don't spend time with their family. Again, if you're over ambitious too much in one way, because Islam, the deen, the reason why Elmi brings it up often is because it's not just a religion, it's a way of life. It shows you how to reach your dreams, how to get your goals, because you need habits to get there. And the deen teaches you that. So being too overly ambitious in certain areas is not what the deen teaches us. You need to be balanced, and that is, like Elmi said, it's a big one, balancing your ambitions out. Being focused.
I remember especially with that. I remember you breaking it down as well. In previous episodes where, the 5 pillars, you know, the amount of times you're required to perform each one comes with the importance and difficulty of each one. Like, you've got the salah, which is simple but 5 times a day. Then you've got Ramadan, which is once a month.
The shahada should be every second, every second of every minute.
Then the salah, Zakah, Ramadan, and then Hajj, which is once a lifetime. So you can sort of equate that with your goals and your responsibilities as well. Like, there's the ones where you got to be thinking about it all the time, and the ones where it's like, okay, once a day, a couple times a day, once a week, once a month, once a year, once a lifetime.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think sometimes we wait for other people to give us that validation or that approval. So sometimes we've got a dream in mind, and the reason why a lot of us sort of share, I'm sure you guys have come across friends or even family members who say, yeah, man, you know what? Inshallah, in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But they don't actually go ahead and do it. Why? Because what they're doing is they're putting it out there for you to give them that approval, right?
That's a good idea.
And then and say, yeah, man, that's an amazing idea. Yo, if you do it, if you achieve it, wallah, and they'll try and use that, but that fuel only gets them so far because the other fuel is blocking it. Like, you're leaking somewhere else. You know, you don't have enough oil. You don't have enough, water in your tank, whatever it is. You don't have that continuous, constant approval, which is from yourself. You need to be able to give yourself that approval. That anybody else, if they give you validation or approval, it's just secondary. But if it doesn't come, it shouldn't stop you or stifle you from going after it. That's why you'll see a lot of people who aren't actually successful pose as they're successful on social media, or pose as they're successful, or say a lot of these, like, you know, like they're too proud, you know, they start boasting about all of these achievements before they even happen. Why? Because they want that approval. They want you to tell them that it's okay to keep going.
But then you also have the flip side, the people that won't do their dreams until someone kind of, like, you know, like, they won't work out and lose weight, but maybe 1 week they're broke and they lose a little bit of weight and someone goes, you're looking good. That's enough for them to go out and do it. But then again, that doesn't last as well.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the key. Like, it's okay. You need to have that healthy mixture, you know. And that's why, even if you've got a spouse, for example, and you see them working hard, reward them with that additional, you know, approval. Say, wow, man, mashallah, you're doing really well. Keep it going. Wallah, inshallah, it works out for you. Make dua for them, you know, your brother, whoever it is, you know, not just your spouse, your brother, your sister, your in-laws, your friend. Make dua for them, try and help them wherever you can, give them good, kind words, you know, to just boost them up, because you know that approval, it means a lot to them. Sometimes it only lasts a small time and maybe they're running low, and when you give them that approval, it just refreshes it.
You do it often,
and they're like,
they believe it.
I gotta come back to it, man. Like tomorrow, inshallah, or tonight. And they you never know. Maybe it changes, and maybe they actually keep going, and they keep going, and then eventually, after a year,
becomes a habit.
and it changes.
I came across a saying that sums that up nicely, which is, if you're good, you'll tell people, but if you're great, they'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you're good at something, you're like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But if you're great, it's at a point where people are telling you now, which is like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, like when we just look at it as like career-wise or a skill, when someone has a skill and they're developing that skill, they're seeking ways to improve.
Yeah.
They're going out to get hired, they're going out and putting themselves in positions. But when they're that great, people are coming to them and giving them offers. Like, hey, can you do this? Can you whatever it is? It's because people appreciate skill. Yeah. Skill, no matter what, will always be appreciated. And also just like people appreciate people that believe that they can do it quietly and get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're someone that goes, yeah, this is my goal, and you get it done, it means more. Like you can have that guy that's always being loud. I'm gonna do this. Every week has a new goal. Yeah. Eventually, it's just gonna be like, yeah. But then there's that one guy that's like, I only see you every 3 months, but every time I see you, you hit another level. You've done something else. You kind of like want to gravitate to that guy because he's achieving things.
Yeah. The thing is, like, you have to think about it. If somebody else was to invest in your idea, either emotionally, through time, money, whatever it is, if they were to invest in it, but you yourself don't believe in the idea enough to actually work on it, like, how is this person going to actually try and assist you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You yourself are not. That means you don't believe in yourself. A lot of people, they don't just invest in ideas. They and you'll find this a lot. The successful people don't invest in just ideas. They invest in the people because the people are the ones that carry out this idea. Yeah. You know the famous saying, if you think you can do something and if you think you can't do something, you're both right. Either way. Yeah. Why? Because it's the person that changes the outcome of it. Yeah. So that's why having self-approval is so important, because once you give yourself that approval and say, I can do it, then you will achieve it. And obviously for us, we have that added bonus where if we make dua, we've got that additional help. Yeah. So you believe in yourself, then you believe that Allah is going to assist you. So now you've got your own assistance and then Allah's assistance. Bro, ain't nobody can stop you, man. Nobody can stop you. Yeah. You don't need additional people to invest in you. You don't need time from somebody else. You're good.
Nobody's going to push that car for you.
No.
You got to push it yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to push it yourself first.
Absolutely.
I still remember that analogy you gave me when we first started this podcast, and it's really helped me through quite a bit. It's like you can't pitch an idea that you don't believe in to anybody else. All right, and it also comes down to we also covered this in the previous episode, which was part of the whole consistency thing is having a big enough why. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you can go after these dreams all you want, but if you don't know why you want to achieve this or pursue this, then you're not gonna be committed enough to it. No matter who it is that's bringing you this dream. And the other thing is, regardless of what your dream is, be okay with it. Like, if you accept whatever that dream is, because right now I might have a dream that I think might be good, right? But it's not good for me. Mm-hmm. And my dream might be slightly lower or way higher and might seem unachievable or might seem like nothing compared to Omar's dream, right? Mm. But I should be happy with it because it's my dream, And once you get to that level of comfortability with your dream, then you'll go ahead with it. But if you're always trying to compare it with others, is it big enough? Is it achievable? Mm. Is it realistic enough? But is it also like lucrative enough? You're never gonna go there because you're always gonna be trying to measure up against other people. And I think that's really important in finding.
It's never ever good to compare yourself to other people, especially when you're achieving goals and dreams and aspirations.
But it happens when you're setting goals, especially.
It does happen, but everyone's got a different path. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you said, but my dream might be, big to you, or your dream might be big to me, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So everyone's different.
The trap though is when our dreams sort of align.
Yeah.
Mm. Like I remember having a conversation with some family members, and and we had a similar sort of thing, but then it's like, what they wanted to target and what I wanted to target were two different things, right? So then I found myself almost compromising what I really wanted to do. And then I was like, hang on, like it's similar, but this is what I want to do, you know? And really like, yeah, sometimes you have that wiggle room where like it aligns up with you guys and you can be like, okay, yeah, we've got this similar dream or whatnot. But
even sorry to interrupt, even if you don't know what your dream is, like you, because there's a lot of not just that, like there's a lot of people that are on this boat, you know, where they don't know genuinely what they want to do, and that's fine, that's okay, but that's not an excuse to not try and pursue or try and find what your true goal is or your dream, right? There is a purpose. There is a reason why you are here. Okay. And we all know that is to worship Allah, right? And to also serve, you know, humanity and the creation, right? Yeah. But you have to be able to find time for yourself to be able to look deep down inside and know yourself enough to know what is it that you truly, truly desire. And if it's permissible, obviously, within Islam, then be able to find a way to try and, you know, achieve it. And the best goal, I say, wallahi, the best goal is the one that, or the best dream is the one that is directly linked to Islam, because it allows you to go after your dream and get rewarded for it in this life and the next. Wallahi, that's the best. That's the best one.
It turns out to be one that you can leave behind. Like it turns into a legacy that you can leave behind. I found.
Yeah, and a lot of people find their dream when they're actually engaged in serving people, when they're actually engaged in helping people. They're like, yo, I'm actually really good. I actually like this. What if I can turn this into an actual successful something, like if it's a business you want to turn it into, or if it's a service you want, whatever it is, you know, or it's an initiative, an event, it can be anything, you know. But the fact that you've managed to turn it into an actual legacy and left it here for a long time, that gets you, you know, ajr.
People also got to understand that your goals, the stuff that you dream of, is normally stuff that is a little bit further away than what you can reach. Because if it's something that you can get right now and you can achieve, it's not normally something you're dreaming of. It's always going to be something a little ahead. So no matter what your dream is, it's not going to be cruisy. Because a lot of people say, this is my dream because I'll be so comfortable in it. If it's out your reach, you're going to be doing things that is not going to be comfortable. That's when motivation is not enough. You're going to have discipline, because it's going to be, or even aspects. You might want to be a football player, and there's a lot of people that will become like, because they love football. But what about all the aspects you need? You need some business acumen, you know what I mean? Because there's going to be a lot of money if you get up there, learning how to deal with crowds and people. And you might hate that side, completely hate that side, but it comes along with the territory. And you're going to have to learn how to actually handle that. And there's going to be tough times, and your dreams change.
As long as you give yourself that permission, because I think that's the key, right? A lot of people don't even reach the point where they're actually chasing their dream. So once they chase their dream, then they can figure out all the logistics of it, you know, what it requires, how much time I need to dedicate, all of these things, you know, and some of the negative things that might come with it. But what we're trying to discuss is even beforehand, that self-doubt, that just being able to say, like, you shut yourself down. And say no.
Where I'm coming from is, a lot of people won't pursue the dream because you always have multiple dreams. There's not just one dream. There's like different aspects in your life, and you might have fell short in a few of them, and that's the reason why you don't want to pursue the other one. And they'll fall short because they'll go, this is my dream. You know what? For once, I'm actually going to put some work in. I'm going to do it. And they'll go to do that work, and they realize it's not all, you know, rainbows and roses and stuff like that. And then they'll fail, and that makes it harder for them to have that self-ambition and that self to go, I need to, you know, go after it. So people need to learn that you need to actually enjoy the process and learning from it. Like this difficulty, this task, this thing I have to finesse is a learning process for me to be able to reach my dream. Like, and you got to have a big enough why for you to be able to take those hurdles. Otherwise you will stop. And the more times you stop short, the less time you're going to try.
Bro, I was listening to, on YouTube, I was listening to, Denzel Washington, and
is it that speech?
My favorite speech.
It goes off, man.
What he said was, dreams without goals are just dreams. All right, without commitment, you won't start, and without consistency, you won't finish. That right there is a small phrase. So much
sums it up. Yeah,
in every aspect, you know, and it just keeps coming back to me. The first part, dreams without goals are just dreams. You can dream about it all you want. You can say, yes, I want to do it. If you don't put goals and an action plan on how to, and that action plan doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have a time limit. For the next 3 years, this is my action plan. And then break it down the next year and a half, the next year, the next 6 months. Without that action plan, without those goals, it will remain dreams and you will never achieve it. And I think that sums up today's episode.
Yeah, and all those points that you talked about, the dreams to a goal, the consistency, all of that is stuff that you gotta have within you. No one can instill that in you.
You can't teach that.
So starting, like you said, making it achievable and continuing it, all those steps are you and you alone. So a lot of people, when they stop and they're blaming everything else, you can't, like, that's on you.
No, of course. When it comes to your dreams, like, everybody goes to work for their responsibilities. Nobody really talks about that, right? Because that's things that you need for survival day to day. And like you said, it's got that short-term consequences if you don't do it, and that short-term gratitude or gratification if you do it. But dreams is the one where I think people really struggle with it. It's a lifetime thing, and I think we'll close off with Denzel's words. Dreams are just dreams without goals. You will never achieve them. Without commitment, you won't start. And without consistency, you won't finish.
100%. And before we finish this...
Yeah, I was about to say, you got to be consistent with your word.
Of course.
Before we finish...
We got to keep our word, our bond. Elmi.
Yes.
How you been since last week? How you been with your word?
I've been working in 20-minute intervals, trying to keep my... But in all seriousness, I'm trying to, bit by bit, trying to change, not making promises.
And not make promises on the spot.
On the spot, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's in a progress, but inshallah khair, I'm getting better.
The key is it takes time. You got to give it time for it to flourish.
Or the fact that you're actually aware of it. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
No, mashallah.
Yeah.
I want to make it easy for you.
I mean, bro, I wanted to... at a point, you know how you're talking about goals and ambitions. Most people have goals and ambitions. You know what? I want to start this business. I want to make money. Like at the end goal is money.
Money, yeah.
And one wise man told me is, if you have a business idea, if you're thinking about the money, you'll never be successful. But firstly, if you think how to help people, then the money will come afterwards. You see what I'm saying?
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful because everybody thinks about the money.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm a big culprit when it comes to that.
We're human beings, bro. Money is attractive, bro.
But you got to realize the money leads to the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah.
So rather than chasing the money, chase for that lifestyle that you want. If you want to be with your family and not have to, be at work 10 hours a day, and that's the lifestyle you want enough money to be able to do that, go for it.
Yeah, but if I'm talking about business-wise,
but a lot of people, like you said, they all have goals and a lifestyle that they want, and then they go, I need money to do that. Then they neglect that just so they can get the money to be able to do that. I want to be able to spend time with my family and my friends, so I'm going to work so hard. Now you're working so hard, you're not spending time with your family and your friends. So, you got to balance.
My advice with goals and dreams, inshallah, would be always keep your intentions pure. And as you've mentioned, if you link it with Islam, then you're set there. But if it's not linked to Islam, which is completely...
It's fine.
As long as it's permissible, as you said. Just keep your intentions pure, because even though it's not linked directly to Islam, with the right intentions and actions, you can get ajr from it.
That's right.
And that's the blessings of Islam. So I think in a sense, everything is kind of interlinked with Islam, whether you directly link it or not. But inshallah, I hope we catch you guys next week for another hectic topic, inshallah. Until then, catch you guys. Assalamu alaikum.